Right, how's it going?
Not only did Robertson play at Hampden, but he also worked alongside the ticket staff.
It was just the start of the story.
He doesn't like when people call it a fairy tale.
Andy Robertson! How about that?
What I've seen, I can't believe it.
Am I ready for this?
Well, Nick throws, that's great.
We expected him with the talent to play at high level.
Everyone knew that Liverpool were in the market. I think it really got real for me when I went and met Jurgen in his house.
We agreed, if you learn defending, I will help you with the rest.
Breaking news to bring you now, and Liverpool have signed Hull left-back Andy Robertson.
I needed time.
Jurgen didn't rush it with Robbo.
Jurgen would rather have a player who's willing to give everything, who he can improve.
For the very first time, the pride of the Premier League!
I think he was perfect for how Jurgen wanted to play.
He's just someone that can lift the mood in any room he walks into.
You know, when I look back on that time, it was the happiest time of my life. It was extremely difficult. The team you love, you have dreams of being a footballer, for that to kind of get taken away at that age, it's difficult.
Like so many kids, he just fell through the cracks. Some people deemed him to be too small, not physically robust enough for the challenge, and he was released and had to basically start again from square one.
I was small, I hadn't filled out. From a very young age, football controlled my life. When you played with Celtic, it's similar to, you know, playing with Liverpool. It's like, okay, you know, there's people, you know, want to get there. Of course, that's what every other youth player kind of wants to get to Celtic or Rangers. When you're there, then that brings a little bit of pressure.
It takes a lot of character, a lot of mental fortitude to bounce back from something like that, because guys get released by Celtic, by Rangers, by big clubs. A lot of them don't bounce back.
It was just the start of the story, thankfully.
At the time, it was probably viewed as a step back to go forward, leaving pro youth clubs, as they called them, to go to Queen's Park, which wasn't quite the professional status at the time.
He came in, we were both young boys, and he was trying to find his way. After he got released from Celtic right away, we were kind of struggling, and we went to the B team back then.
And I think it was when we joined up at 17s was when I got the chance to play with him. It was just a place to go and enjoy our football. The coaches were all brilliant with us. The environment was brilliant for young boys to go and flourish and show their ability and see what they could do.
You probably mention the name Queen's Park, probably not many people know, you know, about the club. You know, at that time they were in League Two.
So he was just the younger, fresher faced version of what he is now. He was just always the same, chirpy character, liked to laugh and energetic. He was just always like that.
We were having a debate. It was one of just a player review that we had with all the players at any given time. We were sitting in the boardroom at Queen's Park and we're talking about his best position. So Andy's dad, Brian, genuinely felt his best position was central midfield and that he was the best midfielder we had at the club at that time. So as staff, we naturally try and not be confrontational, but we try to explain the reasons why we believe fullback was going to be his best position.
It's a smaller club. The youth academy is unbelievable. They've produced so many good players. I was very lucky to manage to experience it.
He had progressed so much. He had went in at the start of the season. Him and Lawrence went in early. As soon as I went in January, I could see he was up and down. It was like he had just went up a level from the youth.
He's always had the energy to get on the pitch. He had that when he was so young. He was always box to byline constantly. His deliveries into the box were brilliant. The amount of times he just found you at the front post for a tap in. It was madness, and obviously the coaches worked on that quite a lot at Queen's Park.
Right, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good. Not only did Robertson play at Hampden, but he also worked alongside the corporate ticket staff.
I was a bit of the whipping boy. Kind of 12 o'clock came and I was, everyone would fling money at me to go up and get the lunch. I always had to work for my money. That was the way me and my brother were brought up. I didn't love education. I tried my best at it, but it wasn't, I was too fidgety, I wanted to just run about kind of classrooms, and I don't think that's the best to do in your English and maths classes. I had one clear dream, but it was unclear if that was going to happen. And you know, I had that year to just try and give it everything I got.
Almost un-Scottish-like. It was almost a sort of, you know, continental way of playing. This guy seemed to have a wee bit more to him. He was getting forward, he was supporting the attack, he was still getting back, he was involved in the play, he seemed to be involved in everything.
In the January at Queen's Park, Partick Thistle tried to get me, and that's important because it was the same manager, Jackie McNamara.
I wanted to take him to Partick Thistle. I left to go up to Dundee United, played against him in the cup game. His energy and drive was going to be left back. Just loved his appetite for the game, and you know, there was always trying to get him.
I stayed at Queen's Park and Jackie moved to Dundee United. Thankfully for me, the interest from him didn't stop after going to a bigger club. I had a couple of other clubs interested in me, went and met a few of them, and you know, I just got that feel for Dundee United that was the place that I wanted to be.
I remember obviously travelling through, and it was good laugh, and we were so excited, and it felt like we were travelling for hours, but obviously it was only to Dundee.
And they took the tour on for £5,000, it was £4,000 for Andy Robertson and £1,000 for Aidan Connolly. And Jackie McNamara paraded the two of them at Tannadice, sort of double signings. And as they did the media conference, one of the Dundee United directors came down to Jackie McNamara on the pitch and said, listen, I have a bit of a problem.
It was one of the directors at Dundee United that pulled me and said that he was getting emails from some fans and they weren't going to renew their season books because they weren't coming and look at Queen's Park players.
There was so many, you know, good players at that club in terms of lads that you probably looked up to at that time, in terms of like Gary Mackay, Stephen, Stuart Armstrong, young players that had broke into the Scotland team and things like that. And Dundee United was well known for playing a good way of playing under Jackie and also giving young players a chance. And I thought it was a perfect move for me.
Desire, I think, was the biggest thing. I think training, he gave everything he had every day, and you could see that right away with Andy, that he's just appetite to win.
We were training with the first team, and he was like in the middle, we were doing possession drills, and he's in the middle, he's the main person in it. He's always wanting to be involved. He wasn't on the outside of the possession, he was always right in the middle of the thicket, the hardest part.
A willingness to win and get better. As a coach and a manager, that's what you're looking for. People to represent you on the field, how you want to go about your game, how you want to play. When you have somebody there giving everything, it makes your job so much easier.
His crossing had just got miles better, it was so accurate, and I think that's the main part that I'd seen. It had developed so much when he had went to Dundee United. His delivery was on point constantly.
He's Mr November in the new Dundee United calendar, but will Andrew Robertson still be at Tannadice by the end of January? Everton manager Roberto Martinez is weighing up a bid after casting an eye over the left back.
I've had a few inquiries, but again we've had no bids for any player, so for me that's the pleasing thing at the moment. You know, ideally it stays like that for the rest of the window being open.
January window, there was a lot of teams in from Martinez at Everton came up to try and sign him. West Ham were in, so a number of teams were after him.
Andrew Robertson! How about that from the youngster? 19 years of age, all his own work.
He was the best player by a mile, he was electric. He had to go, I think, too big a lifetime opportunity to move on there. He had to do that.
We knew Hull were interested. Stan Tennant was the gaffer's main scout.
I went up to Scotland. I was looking at a striker. The striker wasn't up to scratch, but I spotted this left back. So I rang Steve up, but I said, I've seen the left back. I said, but what I've seen is just like, I can't believe it. So I'm going to go back up again.
He said, I think we've found a player. So I said, typical Stan, I said, well, okay, let's go back and watch him. He says, don't have to. Believe me, he's good enough.
I came out at half time. I must have said something to him. I said, listen, I've spotted one in Billy Whiz. So he keeps saying, Billy, what Billy Whiz? What's Billy Whiz like? I said, never mind, no, I'm telling you he's a player. Are you sure? I said, 100%.
And I was like, Billy Whiz? Who else Billy Whiz? He was quick and young and wanted to learn and do well.
There was a couple other clubs and things like that were sniffing about, but Hull was the one that was most front-footed with it. I wasn't sure to go. At Dundee United, I'd only been there 1 year. I'd only been a professional 1 year, and I was a bit, am I ready for this? Am I going too soon?
Left backs are difficult to find. Probably 1 in 10 are naturally left-sided. Rob had a great enthusiasm for it as well.
The great thing about all of this now, you can watch videos and DVDs, and we like the look of them, and Stan had seen them, and then we go to town on what was he like as a boy and where was he been, and before you knew it, I think within a couple of weeks he's in the building.
We've accepted a bid from Hull, and we'll go down and speak to him tomorrow and decide what's best for him, and we'll take it from there.
We've got agreement in place, so the boy's travelling down tomorrow, so with his representatives and his mum and dad.
I remember I drove down to Glasgow one day, still unsure, went and met my agents in the city centre of Glasgow, and they says, look, Steve Bruce wants to phone you. I had a 15-20 minute call with him. I walked out the office and I just said to my agent, come on, let's get in the car and we'll go. And we went down that night, and that's how it all panned out, because the fee and everything was agreed. It was only really me that was a bit uncertain.
I remember the call going out to him saying, look, it's a smashing little club we had at the time. We've just got into the Premier League. We're looking to sign a clutch of young players, you know. You'll come down and get your chance. Use Hull as a bit of a stepping stone.
He looked like a little boy. He walked into the training ground and he had his parents with him, and you could see straight away that he had attributes.
Keep holding it for us, that's great.
It's now turned into being a pretty special picture, and I didn't know I was going to go, so I'm absolutely gutted at that picture because my haircut's shocking. We were away for pre-season for 3 weeks with Dundee United, so my hair grew quick. I didn't have time for a haircut, and I didn't trust, you know, going into Hull, having to find a new barbers and that. So when I look at that picture, I look back, one with a smile with me and Harry, but another one I go, what the hell was that haircut? And where I've came from, it is a big step up, but you know, I'm looking forward to it, and you know, I believe my ability is good enough. We kind of helped settle each other in, you know, two young lads kind of, you know, and to be fair to the older lads, they took me and Harry under their wings so quickly. Yeah, we just kind of stuck by each other's sides until we were confident enough to talk to everyone else.
I knew we had two good players. Harry wasn't so much a find, you know, Harry had played 150 games for Sheffield United. As for Robbo, again, coming down from Scotland, you never quite know how it's all going to work out. Once you see him on the grass and you realise how good Robbo was and the potential that both of them both had.
I was learning every single day. I was just learning on the job, and that was the best thing about it.
Not a bad day's business at all, yeah.
When he first came in, we thought he was a shy type with his mum and dad next to him, but as soon as they went back up the road, the real Andy came out. And he was a gobby little so-and-so for the first few months. We had to give him a clip round the ear now and again. If you didn't know what room he was, you could hear him down the corridor. He was one of them.
We were only for a day out at the races, and the lads must have used Andy to carry the beers on the coach. Andy being Andy, and the devilment in what he even had as a youngster, was carrying these big boxes of beer onto the coach. And I'm at the front of the coach. What the hell are you doing? The rest of the lads have told me it'd be all right. He's get them off.
Steve Bruce gives a Premier League debut to Andy Robertson, who joined from Dundee United.
The first year I went, I had the highs of making my Premier League debut, playing against all these amazing teams.
The fact that he took on that challenge was first and foremost credit to him. I think he rose to it because he learned a lot from being there.
Through injuries and whatnot, or illness or whatever it was, all of a sudden we haven't got a left back, and the only one that was there is young Andy. So we threw him in at the deep end, and it was quicker than we thought, but he swam straight away.
Hull City are relegated, and now they've faced demotion to the Championship next season.
The Championship was the biggest season for me by far, because I learned so much, I grew so much, I improved so much, and I think that season I played the most minutes out of anyone in our team.
He's probably learnt a lot about himself and learnt a lot more about English football, that when we stepped down the league back to the Championship, it was almost like a reset for him, and he could come again.
And I think dropping down into the Championship, especially for Andy, it didn't do him any harm. All of a sudden he became a very, very, very good player and a very good team in the Championship, and he started to flourish. He could be his natural self going forward, and that was his big, big strength. You know, in the Premier League, you know, it would be difficult to get a kick of the ball sometimes.
When we speak about Robbo's forward contribution, the way he could play, he was able to do that a little bit more in the Championship, knowing that we were going into games more comfortably to win, rather than thinking, can we get a point here? So it definitely changed his mindset.
I can't see us wanting to sell one of our better players to Derby, so I can certainly quash that one.
Whether that was real, I do not know, but we were never going to sell our good players to competitors. You know, if Liverpool comes in, or Man United comes in, or anybody comes in, then of course, but yeah, we weren't going to let them go to a rival.
Premier League is where Hull City return.
The start of the season was a bit of a mess. Obviously the last 6 months were really important. Having Marco Silva there, he was so good for me. I loved working under him. He nearly kept us up. We were close. You know, obviously the results improved massively when he came in.
Great personality, you can feel it from the first day. One of the most vocal guys, and when I say vocal guys, in the best way possible. That is about the game, is about and the winning mentality.
Andrew Robertson to Burnley, could that deal happen today?
No.
It's our player.
So that's a definite no, he's staying.
It's my answer, it's no.
When was that interest first made known to you?
Probably during that season, times when you're like that, you know, you get phone calls of going, you know, X, Y and Z are interested, and you go, right, okay, how serious are X, Y and Z? Do you know what I mean? Are they serious enough to come? I knew they liked me as a player.
Sam Allardyce has condemned Marco Silva and Hull City to relegation from the Premier League.
When we got relegated, I knew realistically, what was I then, 23, I think I had a year left in my contract. I knew realistically I had to stay in the Premier League, that's where I belonged.
I knew it in that moment. I'm not saying I'm not going to be naive. That is, I was expecting or the club A, B, C or D, but of course I expected in that moment that many of that players, they are going to have a chance to move and to have a different type of challenge in their career.
I had to move on at that point. Everyone knew that Liverpool were in the market for, you know, 3, 4, 5 players that summer.
Going forward, he was already at very good level. I think that last months of that season was important for him to understand the way you wanted him to play as a left back. We expected him with the talent to play at high level.
I knew they liked me as a player. I'm sure they've liked millions of players. You never quite believe that they're actually going to come. I think it really got real for me when I went and met Jurgen in his house.
I remember the meeting in Formby in my living room. A shy, skinny boy came into my house. We were talking about expectations, about dreams.
That became, you know, extremely real for me. Meeting him, having a chat with him. We ended up sitting for about 2 hours, lost track of time.
We agreed, if you learn defending, I will help you with the rest.
We spoke a little bit about football. He loved me going forward, he hated me going defensively. We spoke about life, we spoke about his upbringing, my upbringing, my background, his background. I think he's seen a younger version of him in terms of when he was playing at Mines, he had other jobs. He loved my story, I loved his story. After that meeting, he was pretty sure that he wanted me in his changing room. But until that contract was signed, I still didn't believe it.
In terms of adding to your squad, we understand that Andy Robertson is due for a medical with Liverpool. What is the situation as regards that, and possibly Kevin Stewart going the other way?
Immediately in the moment when somebody tells me I can talk to you about transfers, I do it.
Robbo's always had is a determination and something within himself to go and prove everyone wrong. Brilliant at Dundee United, brilliant at Hull. And even though he fully deserved his move to Liverpool at the time, I think everyone will admit it was a big jump.
I think in terms of that Liverpool move, we were all a bit surprised, to be honest. We thought it might be an in-betweener. There might be maybe a top 10 team before he goes to such a huge club like Liverpool.
Jurgen would rather have a player who's willing to give everything, who he can improve, rather than having somebody who's maybe a finished article, if you like. Jurgen was very good at improving players and getting the best out of them. Even I've heard from certain people that worked with Robbo before Liverpool at Hull that he was out on the training pitch last, working on his crossing all the time, so he was always willing to go above and beyond, do extra work. And I'm sure when Liverpool or when other clubs hear about that, then that tells you a lot about a person and a character.
Breaking news to bring you now, and Liverpool have signed Hull left-back Andy Robertson.
When you grow up as a kid, you dream about playing with big clubs such as Liverpool, and to make that a reality is a dream come true for me, and I just want to prove to people that, you know, I can do it at this level.
Things getting more expensive. When I was a kid, but you could buy butter for, I don't know, 20 cents. So that's long ago.
But sometimes you find some butter that's a good value, don't you? You don't have to spend a lot to get good butter sometimes.
Yeah. With butter it's a little bit different, I think. There's not a big surprise on the butter side of life.
You started the butter thing.
Yeah. But your English is better, you could have chosen another example. Yeah, so, yes, there's a lot of butter out there.
£8 million 9 years ago probably represents much more right now. I'm sure now for you to buy a left back of the level of Robertson, probably you are going to pay more.
He signed when we were on pre-season tour and he never joined us. He kind of had to wait until we got back. First impressions were, nice guy. I'm very, very timid at this point. Don't feel like I've earned my place to really speak in the dressing room. For me, it was more keep your head down and keep working hard. Likewise with him, obviously joining a new club, that's the same kind of thing that you want to do. You just want to play, you want to perform, you want to earn your spot, and you want to show the fans what you can do.
Andy Robertson makes his debut after moving from Hull.
I think me and Robbo got on pretty much straight away, really. He's funny, a warm person. I tried to help him as much as possible. He wasn't Playing regularly, he was sometimes out the squad in the stand, which is not easy when you come to a new club.
It was up and down, but I was learning every single day, learning to deal with disappointments again.
Probably his vulnerability of joining a big club. I immediately warmed to him because I felt the exact same way when I joined the football club. I thought, was I good enough for the football club? Is it going to be a step too much for me? Am I going to be good enough? And I kind of felt that them same vibes coming off Robbo.
Alberto Moreno hadn't played much the year before. I think I'd played left back the year before, and then Alberto got back in the team and was doing quite well. And I remember a few Champions games, I think he was actually in the stand, didn't even get on the bench, and you know that's not easy when you've been signed.
He just needed to get the opportunity and develop a little bit and just settle into the club, which is, when you come into Liverpool, that's pretty normal. You need a period of time to settle in. He was just sort of finding his feet, working on things that he could improve on.
I think Alberto got injured in a Champions League game and he was on the bench, so I ended up going left back, and he was joking, he thought I'm going to get a chance here, messaging his mates, and I think I got 3 assists in the second half or something, and he thought that he's not going to get a game.
Jurgen didn't rush it with Robbo either, he took his time, which probably frustrated him at the beginning because I remember he was being left out of squads.
I needed time, and I was allowed that time.
Andy Robertson is in for the injured Alberto Moreno.
I think it was perfect for how Jurgen wanted to play, intensity. The attacking players we had and the full-backs was key in how we played football. Both full-backs would go on at times, and obviously the centre-halves and the midfield would cover, and the creativity they gave the team and the amount of assists, you could see that from both sides, Trent and himself.
He's been on the training field, he's practicing his delivery, practicing his crossing, arriving into the areas where he's going to get the ball. He was a great outlet for us on the left side.
Who's Jurgen Klopp's favourite out of the pair of you? Oh, not even a doubt.
It was a competition to see which side could get more goals. I think I proposed the idea, we'll see this season who gets more assists.
Looking for Robertson, what a ball that is! A record-breaking assist for Robertson.
You know, without the ball, there's the famous press where he pressed the whole Man City team and just kept going and going, and that's him in a nutshell really, the relentless nature, the intensity, pressing, and the honesty.
I'd have probably been screaming at him to get back in position. It's a perfect clip of the energy, the willingness, the desire that Robbo gives.
His personality is so infectious, and it's so aligned with what Liverpool Football Club represents.
He's the joker in the best way possible because every dressing room needs someone like that. He's just someone that can lift the mood in any room he walks into.
I know I'm an energy giver. I've always come in every single day to work with a smile on my face. Even when I'm maybe not in the best of moods or whatever, I still then click out of that and try, because I know we're doing the best job in the world.
I did feel as though that leadership side grew and grew, and he was a huge help to me and the other lads for sure in that leadership role around the dressing room, the culture and the environment of everything there at Liverpool.
When we were travelling and sitting on the plane and all that, they were the best times we were ever having. We were just a group of lads, best mates, just having an absolute laugh, taking over the world effectively. I'm enjoying just, you know, being a kind of newly Champions League winner, and it's an incredible feeling.
Champions of England, Liverpool!
When I look back on that time, it was the best time of my life. I'll just always look back on this time with just a huge smile on my face.
Anfield, your appreciation for Andy Robertson.
It was a dream to win the Champions League or the Premier League. It wasn't an expectation. Now it's an expectation, and that's down to us lads that have, you know, brought success to this club. It's now an expectation that Liverpool are going to be at the top end of the league. They're going to be trying to fight for Champions Leagues or trophies and things like that. So, you know, credit to all the lads.
My time's up, my contract's ended, and everyone, that happens to everyone at one point. I would hope everyone would say I would still be the same Andy Robertson this season than I was 2019 when people were saying I was maybe the best left back in the world.
He was always there to support everyone, he was always there to make us laugh. It was just a pleasure to be in the same team with him, really.
He's the heartbeat of like the dressing room.
Those characters are so important, keeping the energy and the team spirit and bringing people together.
There's zero ego on the grass with Robbo.
One of the world's best left backs. That's crazy to say.
I look back on my 9 years with absolutely zero regret. It's just been, you know, the time of my life. This is the biggest chapter in my book, but the book's not finished.